What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good evening, or wherever you are, and whatever time it is, and welcome back to yet another video with you, man, Immersiaholic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another online battle for the Divided to Para Overhaul mod for Total War Rome 2. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have an epic 2 versus 2. That's right. This is going to be a big matchup. Today we have the Odrysian Kingdom, played by my good friend Andre Lemgaard, who's been kind enough to send in this online replay. Here is his army. He is teaming up with Matt, who is playing as Syracuse. We then have God, who is playing as Egypt. And then we have a gentleman who I'm going to call Sword, who is playing as Pontus. This is the 2 versus 2. This is on regular funds and everything, I believe. The only rules that I'm aware of that implemented are no more than 5 of a certain unit in the army. But besides that, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an absolute blast. This is on the latest DEI patch as well, using the larger Battlefield sub mod, link in the description. For all of the mods that the people who used in the battle, and also mods that I'm using now while I'm actually recording this, because I can use other mods while I'm watching battle replays from other people, so I still get to keep my awesome graphic mods installed and everything, which is always fun. Now, since this is only a 2 versus 2, I am going to take the time to go through all of the units of each army, so there's going to be 4 timestamps down below going over every single army. If you would like to skip it, feel free to go ahead and just skip it ahead. In all of my online battles, I always try and do timestamps, so you guys can skip ahead if you're not interested in seeing every single unit. But because this is 2 versus 2, we're going to try it out. So I will still try to be very quick. I'm not going to comment too much on the armies while I am going over the units. We're just going to list them off. I'll show you where they are, and then we will get into the battle. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's get started by checking out Syracuse. Okay, everybody, let's start on the left-hand flank for Syracuse. We have 2 sets of Syracusan Lancers, 2 sets of shock cavalry. Very nice. 1 Furious Spear unit. He has a bit of a checkerboard formation here, so we'll kind of bounce it between them all. So Furious Spear unit over here on the left. In front of them, Furious Swordsman. Samnite Medium Infantry, which is another sword mid-tier unit. Furious Swordsman again. Brutine Infantry, essentially Italian, basically an AOR unit, so Syracuse is pretty lucky they actually get to recruit them. But yeah, Brutine Infantry in the center of the formation, another Samnite Medium Infantry. Brutine Infantry right here, Furious Spears. His general is a Syracusan Guard, which is actually an elite hoplite unit, so that's going to be interesting. Furious Sword, I don't believe I counted that one. Samnite Medium Infantry, Furious Swords, and then another set of Furious Spears. In the front, he has 5 sets of skirmishers. He has 1, 2, 3 sets of Greek slingers, and then behind them 2 sets of crossbow infantry. I really like this army. It's a very good Syracusan army. His biggest downfall, though, is lack of cavalry. He only has 2 units, and he doesn't even have his general as a cav unit, so this is going to be very risky not bringing in that much cav, especially to a battle that is so open. But anyway, that is Syracuse, controlled by player Matt. Let's check out the Odrysian Kingdom very quickly. Going from left to right, we have the general over here, who is a Thracian Noble on Fire unit. Amazing shock infantry. Just go line by line for this, because he actually is in pretty much standard line formation. The very front, though, he does have a long spear, Furious Spears unit. Bit of a throwaway unit, but they could still be helpful and suck up a charge. We then have, for his entire first front line, we have 5 sets of late Thracian infantry, which is essentially a solid mid to heavy tier sword unit. Bit of a newer unit for the Odrysians, very powerful. It has been nerfed, and so I'm going to be interested to see how it plays out in this online battle. But in recent online battles, they've still done amazing, so it's going to be interesting to see if they are still super strong. We then have 3 sets of Thracian Peltas, and then 2 sets of Mede Peltas. What's the difference between these two? The Thracians are slightly worse in a couple statistics, so the Medes are a little bit more elite. I believe they are even the ones with spears, are they? They may be. I'm not sure. They don't have a dagger or a sword on their hilt, so must be. Another Thracian noble on fire unit. It's a noble version, keep in mind, as was the other one. Right hand flank, we have another long spear Thurio spears unit. We then have 4 sets of cavalry. I thought this unit was the general, though. That is the general. But then... what? Oh, but he has a bodyguard unit. Oh, okay, I see now. I was confused. I thought he had 2 generals, but no, you can actually get more than 1 general's bodyguard unit in your army. So I'd imagine, yes, the general is the unit over here, the noble on fire unit. You can see on the mini-map, well, you can't see right now, but in a second you will see that right down here, there's the star, so that indicates where he is. Does have a Thracian Thorax bodyguard unit, no, very good cavalry. It's then backed up by Thurio shock cav, 1, 2, 3 sets of those. All of those are essentially a mixture of shock and melee cav. 120 men for all of the units, or for all of the cavalry units, except the general. He's only at 100. So yeah, this side is definitely lacking cavalry overall, though. The Thracians are the one with the most cav, and they aren't skirmisher cav. The Thracians didn't bring any long-range skirmishers either, so a little risky on that part. I mean, the Thracians are going to be wanting to get into close contact anyway as quickly as possible, so let's see how they handle it. But first, let's continue checking out the rosters. We're going to go over Egypt, controlled by GOD, and then we'll check out the Pontic forces, led by Sword. So starting from the rear of the Egyptian formation is the cavalry. 3 sets of Saracen Lancers up here. 120 men in each unit too, worth noting. Sacred Squadron unit, another shock cav unit, which is his general. Then it has a Galatian Mercenary Spearman unit. Interesting unit to bring, going to be fun to see how that goes. 2 sets of Nubian Archers, and then 3 sets of Egyptian Bowmen right here. 3 sets of Peltist Pikemen. Despite being a Peltist Pikeman, they actually don't have a Javelin, I believe. Yeah, no, they don't. They're just a little bit more mobile and have the shorter pike variants. So it's not a typical Sarissa pike, I believe. But anyway, going to be interesting to see how they perform. Pretty, I wouldn't say elite, but they're very good. So they should be doing pretty well. Galatian Mercenary Spearmen again. Judean Thurio Spear units. And then for the front line, he has 4 sets of Ptolemaic Swordsmen. So quite heavy on the skirmishers, but they are only archers, so not too long range. He has good shock cavalry. Not a lot of staying power though. The swordsmen in the front aren't going to be all that useful because they're going to die quite quickly. He does have pikemen, but only 3 of them, so they're pretty easy to avoid. He then has 4 sets of spearmen actually. 2 Galatian mercs, 2 Judean Thurio spears, so I'm not sure what the game plan is with the Ptolemaic army here. Obviously he wants to try and use his pikes, but we'll see how he goes with that. It's going to be difficult, I think. And I believe we're seeing the entire army, although there could be 1 or 2 units hidden. But anyway, we will see what happens with that. Now let's talk about Pontus, controlled by Steam user Sword. Here is his cavalry over here. 3 sets of Pontic cav, just good solid medium tier melee cavalry. Pontic Thurio Spearmen in front of them to help support, very vital to helping out your cav. Another Thurio Spear unit close by. He then has a general, which is a Sarmatian Royal Bodyguard, which is a shock cav unit. He then has a Cappadocian Lancer unit as well, so quite heavy on the cavalry. Wow, even more Thurio Spears. Goodness gracious. So he has 1 back there, which we already pointed out. Then it has a 2nd one here, a 3rd one, and then a 4th one, in addition to the 5th one that we talked about over here. So 5 sets of Pontic Thurio swords for Pontus. Wow, that's a lot. And then he has 5 sets of Pontic light infantry right here, which is a good mid-tier swordsman unit, similar to the Thracian heavy infantry. And then he has 5 sets of Persian slingers, super cheap, but they are long range, and they are facing up against the Odrysians, who do not have long range. So anyway, let's go ahead and press play. This battle is only 19 minutes long, so I'm just going to press play. Probably not going to skip ahead because we can talk about the armies as they march forward. I know Andre, I know God, I don't know the other players, so I'm not too sure on their experience level and skill overall. But I know Andre and Geo are excellent, very well versed in DEI and all of its mechanics. I have very high expectations of them. It's going to be interesting. They are going kind of diagonally against each other, so God is over here with the Egyptians, Andre with the Thracians over here. But I mean, the armies of the other two players seem quite fine. I mean, the Pontic army seems really strong. Seems to be like a bit more of a kind of like meta build army. It's the kind of army you would expect, perhaps, if you were playing like real seriously, because it has excellent flexibility. The slingers are great at countering enemy skirmishes. They should shut them down. The swordsmen he has will get kills, and they will last a long time. They have good armor, considering they have 300 men per unit. The spearmen all have javelins and 300 men per unit. I mean, the Pontic army really doesn't have that many weaknesses. Its skirmishes are pretty weak, but there's a lot of them, so they should still win. Very hard army to deal with, in my opinion, especially with so many 300 size units. But the Odrysians are known for their lethality. Their melee troops are absolutely incredible. A lot of javelins for the Odrysians. I'm not sure if it's necessarily needed. I would like to see some of the javelins splinter off and come to the left side, actually. Help out the cav. Because cavalry is really going to dictate this battle. You're in a massive open field. Let's get rid of that. Massive open field. Two armies go up against each other. Your armies are very spread out. Like, look at the amount of space right here in between the cavalry on the wing and these troops out here. They're hitting the end of the map almost. Despite us using the larger battlefield somewhat here. First blood goes to the Egyptians and the Syracusans though. Skirmishers are engaging each other. Syracusans have nice skirmishes with their crossbows, and they have slingers to help give them some cover, so they're obviously targeting the archers. Archers are getting cut down. They do have 200 men per archer unit, so that will help, but gotta be careful with that. I'm thinking the Syracusans and the Odrysians are going to want to get their melee engagements as quickly as possible. The Odrysians will do best in melee, and the Syracusans have an excellent range of melee infantry. Cavalry, good job keeping them in the rear. He needs to be very defensive on his left-hand flank, and in fact, the Odrysians may very well need to send reinforcements over. But the Odrysians are busy. They're charging forward with their javelins. Interesting call. It does mean that the main line of the Pontic forces is going to waste their jabs and skirmishes. So the main line of the Odrysians is actually untouched. Very interesting. He's pulling back some spear units here. On the far right hand flank we have Furio spears getting in combat with each other. Not really beneficial to either side. The Pontic forces will lose though. They have very few men in comparison in the unit. 300 size unit, take it to 200 size. And the cavalry are overloaded. Holy crap. Yeah, the Odrysians are going to struggle. They also will need to be defensive on their flanks. Infantry of both Syracuse and the Odrysians is going to have to win on the battle, but look at this. God going in ultra aggressive with his cavalry. Pushing hard, has 2 sets of spearmen coming in to help support. They'll tie up any infantry. I would really like to see God with the Egyptians be aggressive. Get your cav involved. You have the cavalry. Put them to work, sir. Gotta be a little bit of lag at the start of this battle. There is over 10,000 units on the battlefield. Probably floating around 12-ish, I'd imagine. Charges though, the Pontic forces are getting the charges against the Odrysians. Not good for the Odrysians. They're bringing in their fire warriors though, and they actually have bonuses versus cabs, so that'll be interesting. First rout over here though. A major unit, spearman unit being pushed off the battlefield. Egyptians making a little bit of a bid right here to try and get into the center. They charge forward with their general. And he's getting cut the hell down. Oh my gosh, that... I wonder if that was a misclick, but... no, not necessarily. The general charged into Run Fire Warriors. Is he going to get a recharge or retreat? Oh, he's going to retreat. He's going to go like through here. Through the gap. I mean, a good charge targeting the Run Fire Warriors actually, but... I mean, the Egyptian general looks like he's almost dead. He's routing. He will come back from routing if he doesn't get touched again, but the general might have already died. So, big loss for the Egyptians early on with the general getting smashed. Odrysian generals also taking losses, but they're okay. All armies are completely engaged at this point. Syracusans are holding quite well. The Egyptians aren't pressing their cavalry advantage around the flank. So Syracusans are just trying to push through the center. But, ooh, mistake. Big mistake. Yeah. They charged the pikemen head on. And this unit lost over 200 men. Well, a bit over 150 men. And the pikemen didn't lose a single unit. Man. They could have just, instead of having this sword unit engage the pikes, just have them stand right in front of them. If the pikes try to move forward, just move forward your swordsmen back and just keep doing that. It's obnoxious and annoying, but it's effective and it makes pikes essentially useless. Odrysians, on the other hand, a little bit of mixed results going on for them. They're getting outflanked over here by spearmen. The cavalry fight is swinging in the Odrysian favor, but that's also because the Pontic forces have two sets of cav that they are actually looking like they want to bring out to do some charges, perhaps? Or is that going to be a misclick? No, that was a charge. Yeah, that was a charge animation, so they're trying to help out. Over there on the left-hand side, Thracian troops going to take some casualties. Very mixed battle so far. Not really clear who's going to win. Slingers of the Pontic forces are being left unmolested. No, unacceptable. They're going to get a lot of kills. At least, they're going to get a lot of damage, I should say. Maybe not a lot of kills. They are very cheap slingers. Syracuse still holding out quite well. I'm really surprised that they haven't been outflanked by the cavalry of the Egyptians. Now the Syracusans are going on the offensive. That's kind of funny, considering they only had 2 units of cav. But I mean, you get a charge in there, they're going to do some serious damage, and then you might be able to sneak one of the crossbow units close enough to get some cav, but there's also a general unit coming around. Main line of the Syracusans is getting chewed up in a lot of places, but then it's also doing well on the like the edges. Like out here, that Egyptian unit's got to go. These 2 Egyptian units are losing. This one's losing. But back towards the center, they are having to throw in their general against a pike unit, and the general's getting nothing done. Bad call in my opinion, attacking the pikes. Yeah, you need to stop them, otherwise they'll just be able to run through. But like I said, just stand a unit literally in front of it. It's gonna be rough otherwise, but I mean, you do have cool engagements like this, where you see that the swordsmen have flanked around the pike unit right there. So that's a nice engagement, but then you have a good player like GED who picks up on things like that, and you see he just adjusted his formation. So there you go. Meanwhile, far out, there's been a massive collapse of the Odrysian forces. They still have a lot of cavalry, some spear units, a couple random units. Outside of that though, Pontus and the Odrysians just beat the hell out of each other. Probably favoring the Pontic forces. They still do have numerical superiority over here. The slingers are still going, harassing the hell out of the Odrysians. Very unfortunate for the Odrysians. General of the Odrysian. Oh no, that's the general's bodyguard. It's not the actual general. He's in a Run Fire Warrior unit, which looks like it's right here retreating. There's the Odrysian general. He's about to run. Well, he is running. And he's about to get picked up by Egyptian spearmen that have somehow made it all the way over there. But, I mean, there's still cavalry from the Odrysians, still some spearmen. Some of their units are going to come back from routing as well. You know, some highlighting there. Meanwhile, Syracuse is coming out on top against the Egyptians. So, interesting Very interesting. Their cavalry looks like they've been beaten though. Yeah, there's one unit of Syracuse and cav over there. But look at this, Egyptian cav sneaking behind the enemy lines. Now it's really going to come down to coordination. Which team can coordinate their efforts better? And to be honest, it seems like the Odrysians need to coordinate more with the Syracusans. Out here on their own, they're probably going to get picked off. Although we did get a very nice charge on the slingers, so kudos to Andre. But it wasn't enough to get them routing. There's still 3 more units of slingers over there. I would probably just leave here on fire warriors. But they're an amazing unit. With a bit of support, they actually might end up outlasting these Pontic units. There we go, 2 units of slingers gone. Good job to the Odrysians. Gotta get a good charge in right here. But he's taking fire the entire time, and spearmen are nearby. I would like to see the Odrysians and Syracusans try to group up a little bit more, but they're so far apart now. It's a little bit of an every man for himself kind of deal. The Egyptians in the same situation. They're on their own. Pontic forces are out here dealing with the Odrysians. Getting some victories for the Egyptians over here. Looks like they might be trying to even bring their forces closer together. That's why they've moved that pikeman unit. We'll see. But the Egyptian cavalry is still very strong. 1 unit there. I have a spear unit coming back, 100 men. That's not good for Syracuse. Man, this 7 minutes left in this battle, and it's still anyone's battle, to be honest. The Odrysians are bringing it back. Their on fire warriors are just being disgusting. 236 kills. Is this another unit? No, that's a late Thracian. I think they lost their other on fire warrior. Yeah, the general's gone, it seems. Or is he over here? No, he's not. Oh no, Syracuse general getting pinned down. Cavalry is chasing him, and pikemen are coming in to pin him as well. They do turn around to face the enemy cav just in time, but they're about to be surrounded. Very nice marker from GOD to hunt down that Syracusan general. Unfortunate for the Syracusan, his army just got too split up. He does have reinforcements coming in. They need to hurry up and come save their general. Unlikely to happen though, he is surrounded. Meanwhile though, the Pontic forces have actually lost a massive chunk of their numerical superiority. Skirmishers are now out of the battle. The only people with skirmishers still are the Syracusans and the Egyptians, with only a couple units each. Syracuse has been helping out with their cavalry actually. I thought that unit got hit. Was that the only cav unit for Syracuse? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no. Okay, so the second Syracuse unit is gone. General of the Syracusans is routing and about to die. Very bad time to lose your general, especially when you have so many more units left. Syracuse can still put up a serious fight, bring the victory home for them. Meanwhile, the Odrysians kind of splitting up a little bit too much. For my liking at least, I would like to see these 3 units kind of being like a bit of a short line. Make it a dense line, but still keep them close together. Keep your cav on either side. Like, look, they're so close to routing. Yep, they're shattered. See you later. These guys are probably going to shatter too. They are exhausted. They're running. They need to stop running because they're chasing down essentially a full unit. If this Pontic unit turned around and engaged both of them, it would win, to be honest. Yes, it's going up against good units, but cav charge coming in as well. Instead, oh, misclick. Pontic cav unit gets chased down by the Syracusan swords. Are they going to rout from it? If they do, that's going to be quite big. Pontus needs its cavalry. Very lucky. Oh no, but then the Odrysians do the same thing. They get their cav running into it. The Syracusans get their cav running in. Oh no, the Egyptians are chasing them down. What a mess of cavalry. Oh my goodness. Man. misclicks and just minor little directions that aren't completely monitored, and all of a sudden you almost lose your entire cavalry that are left. 3 sets of cavalry left for the Egyptians and the Pontic forces. Although, to be fair, one of the Pontic cav units is almost gone. Oh my goodness, this is still anyone's battle. It's coming back to Syracuse having more infantry than the Egyptians, potentially, but they have units that are way out here. Their general didn't die, because he's actually still here. He's come back from routing. No way that they're, I believe that's their general right there with the sword. Holy crikey, that's crazy. It looks like Syracuse might be bringing this back. Syracuse and the Odrysians. Odrysians still have a few influential units. Oh no, is that another? That might have been another little run-in right there. Either way, that cav unit needs to be careful it doesn't get stuck, because look at these Egyptians, dude. They're looking for a good charge. Oh, a lot of units on the brink of routing. Mainly Syracusan and Egyptian, Odrysian units. It's still anyone's battle. It's so close. We're coming down to 3 minutes left in the battle. Syracuse still has quite a few really strong units, so the cavalry's coming in. Syracuse has pretty solid cav too. Let's see how well they're doing. 176 kills. Oh no, the Egyptians are trying to run. They're running, they're running, they're running. But then the countercharge comes in. Syracuse and cavalry's going to get hit, but they do get an Egyptian unit routing. Oh look, but there's another one coming back in from routing too. Oh my goodness, time is a massive factor right now. Syracuse and the Odrysians need to wrap this up before the reinforcements come in. Pontic force is getting surrounded. Egyptian cavalry about to right here as well. They had their Ethereal spears come in big. Short pikes are going to be surrounded as well. Oh my goodness. This is coming down to the wire. Egyptian cav confirmed, chased off the battlefield. This unit is coming in, but it is about to rout. Comes in with a beautiful rear charge against the Pontic Ethereal spears. Get them routed. There they go. They're shattered off the battlefield. It's now coming down to just Egypt. Can they win it for the Egyptian Pontic coalition? There is no way. Surely not. Egyptian cav unit does rout. Another one comes back from routing though again. Gonna get a beautiful charge with their lances. Very good cavalry on the charge, but they just charged into a vastly superior force. Those Egyptians are not gonna last. There is an Egyptian unit out here routing that may come back. Cavalry needs to go ahead and chase that down. Pikes of the Egyptians have not routed, and they don't even look like they're interested in routing, but they are the only unit left on the battlefield that hasn't routed for Egypt. Now it's just going to be a simple matter of surrounding and obliterating. I mean, there have been more dire last stands before that have turned out to be fine, but surely Syracuse can close this out. Getting their troops all in position beforehand. Hit it from all sides at once. I'm surprised this unit hasn't routed, to be honest, but it is quite a high tier unit. Here comes the charge. Final rear charge, final charge overall of the battle. What a battle that was, oh my goodness. I really thought the Pontic army was going to smash the Odrysians in front of them, but the Odrysians are just so deadly. They're late warriors. Bring it home. Absolutely fantastic. Very well done to everyone participating in the battle. That was very, very, very close there. Wow, I can't believe the the Pontic army was very nice. Its skirmishes did amazing damage. Morale damage as well, not just kills. They're probably not even going to have many kills. But anyway, let's go to the statistics screen and check out the stats for this online battle. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Odrysian Syracuse coalition, very realistic alliance, actually comes in huge. Very, very impressed that they managed to pull it off. They actually had substantially lower numbers too. Although, to be fair, for the Pontic forces, like a quarter of their army was skirmishers. Very cheap, low tier, bottom of the barrel slingers. They didn't get a massive amount of kills, although these kills actually aren't all that bad, considering how terrible the unit is. But they did a lot of morale damage, helped chase some units off the battlefield. I would have liked to have seen them perhaps focus a little bit more on the Odrysian cavalry, because the Odrysian Cav still did quite good. 2 units getting well over 200 kills. 2 other units got shut down though for the Odrysians. Run Fire Warriors came in pretty big, 200 kills. That's like, at the very least, a good minimum for the Run Fire Warriors, so they were obviously targeted and they were shut down, but they got their minimum, which as long as you get at least 200 with a Run Fire unit, that's okay. 300 plus, that's when it's good. And it looks like this unit did with 356. The Pontus of the Odrysians, interesting choice to bring so many. I think he could have just brought in 2 or 3. I'm not sure what you would bring in instead. I mean, he only had 4 units of cav, so bring in another cav unit. He should have been allowed to bring 5, I believe. So if he was allowed, bring in a 5th unit of cav. Just to really swing that cav fight your way. But that's just my personal opinion. The Peltas all did fine in the end. One of them got pretty low kills, but 60 plus kills for a relatively low tier Peltas unit, that's alright. These 2 Peltas were pretty elite. 60 kills not good enough, 120, that's good. Get 100 plus, I'll be happy with any Peltas unit, really. The late Thracian warriors did quite well. They're not as OP as they used to be. That's quite certain. But they still did very, very good. But they should have. They were facing off against mid-tier swords from Pontus. So there you have that. The Pontic spearmen did amazing. I'm seeing a bit of a pattern in online battles. I mean, I kind of always have noticed it, but especially now more than ever, Thurio spears are freaking amazing. 300 men in each unit. They have at least 1 javelin. Some of them have 2, I believe. And they have excellent defense and pretty solid attack. Bonuses against cavalry, so it doesn't matter if they get charged by cav because they can handle it. So amazing use of spearmen by Pontus. Mad props to them. The cavalry of Pontus, I think the choices of cav were fine. I'd prefer not to bring shock cav in an online battle just because it's so hard to micromanage them and make them be effective. I prefer just bring melee cav myself. But I'm really surprised that Pontus didn't get the cavalry advantage over the Odrysians. We did see like 2 of the Pontic units be peeled off from the fight to go help out the Egyptians. So, I mean, maybe if there was a little bit more faster pace with the cavalry from Pontus or Egypt. Let's check out the Egyptian and Syracusan armies. Egypt cavalry did, wow, that's really fantastic. I'm quite surprised with the number of kills there. Their general didn't do very good. He kind of got shut down. The archers, that's a lot of archers for not really much gain. I'm kind of surprised he brought all of those. I mean, the Egyptian bowmen are 200 men strong, so it's not a bad gamble, but I'm not really sure what he was looking to do with them. Probably just counter the enemy skirmishers, I would imagine. Because he's going up against Syracuse. Syracuse has good mid-tier units. That's their specialty. They have a fantastic variety of good, solid mid-tier units. It's almost like using Roman Principes. Their Samnite warriors did great. One of them got shut down, but the other 2 did fantastic. Thurio spearmen did great. The Thurio swordsmen didn't really do very well for Syracuse. I'm surprised that there's so many of them. But the Brutine infantry did fantastic, so maybe some less Thurio swords might have been more beneficial. But, I mean, they're 300 men strong and they have a javelin, so I don't blame him for bringing all that. The crossbows of Syracuse did disgusting. Over 400 kills between 2 units. I really wish I paid more attention to those bad boys. That's incredible. Really, really well done. And they were going up against Egypt. I mean, yeah, they went up against light skirmishers, so it'd be easy to get a lot of kills, but I mean, that can't just be entirely skirmishers, right? So wow, very impressive. The slingers of Syracuse weren't really all that useful except for dying. I mean, almost all the units were killed, so hopefully that's where the Egyptian skirmishers wasted their ammo. The pikemen of Egypt did way better than what they should have, given this is all-in battle and you just really literally can never attack pikes from the front. I don't like that. It feels very gamey avoiding pikes, but if you want to beat them, don't fight them. Just don't. Wait until the end game when you can finally surround them. I mean, at the very end we saw, I believe it was this Egyptian unit left. Did a little bit of a last stand. I mean, they got amazing kills, so props to it, but it really shouldn't have gotten that many kills. Yeah. I might do some videos in the future specifically just talking about pikes and how to deal with them in campaigns and then in online battles, because it's obviously going to be a big difference against when you're playing against a person and the AI, so that could be a lot of fun. Galatian swords for Egypt. No, that's Galatian spearmen, is it not? Yes, it is spearmen. They just have the Galatian sword unit card. Okay, that's a little weird, but anyway. 338 amazing kills. 88 okay. And then we have the Ptolemaic swordsman. Where the friggin' hell did this unit get 388 kills? There's no way. What? What did it fight? Did it kill skirmishers maybe? That's incredible. The Pontic swords did way better than what I expected, so the Egyptian main line really kind of shut me down. I was really talking a lot of crap about it at the beginning of the battle. Put me in my place. The Egyptian melee units all did pretty great considering. They were going up against Syracuse, which is well known for having a fantastic mid-tier sword roster. And Syracuse did really well, so I'm surprised that the Egyptians did as well as they did. Amazing battle though, very talented players among everyone here. It was a lot of fun to watch. The only request I would have is to see more variety in the maps. I would love to see a bit of terrain. I would love to see how these players handle it when they have to fight on hills and forests and I mean maybe rivers, whatever. But anyway, thank you so much again to my man Andre Lemgard for sending in the replay. Thank you to everyone else who participated in the battle, and thank you all for watching. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.